So the power just went out. 1 second you're scrolling TikTok, the next you're sitting in the dark wondering what to do. Most people panic. They scramble for one half-dead flashlight or pray their phone battery holds out. But not you. You're here because you know better. You're here to build a blackout bag. Your all-in-one lifeline that keeps you fed, lit, and alive when the grid goes silent. Tonight, I'm breaking down the 10 essential items you need in that bag. And trust me, I'm not talking about the obvious junk everyone else lists. I'm talking about the things that'll actually keep you ahead when the rest of your neighborhood is fumbling in the dark. 10. Heavy-duty power bank with solar recharging. Most people think tossing an old phone charger in their blackout bag is enough. Wrong. The truth is, in 2025, the average American household owns over 21 connected devices, from smartphones to e-readers to medical trackers. When the grid goes down, those devices die faster than you think. Most smartphones only last 10-14 hours of active use on a full charge. That's why a rugged power bank, at least 20,000 mAh capacity, isn't optional. It's survival. Go for one with solar recharging panels, because you can't depend on your wall outlets when the power grid collapses. A solar panel power bank can generate about 5 to 7 watts in direct sunlight, enough to keep a phone alive indefinitely. But here's the kicker. Don't stop at just charging your phone. These newer models also have USB-C fast charging, DC outputs for laptops, and even jump-starting capability for car batteries. Imagine a blackout after a hurricane, where gas stations are closed and ATMs are down. Your phone is your lifeline to emergency alerts, GPS maps, and even offline medical references. Without power, you're cut off. That's why one power bank can literally mean the difference between knowledge and ignorance, between reaching help and being stranded. Always store it half-charged. Lithium batteries degrade if they're kept at 100% forever. That one tip alone extends its lifespan by 30 to 40%, and you'll thank yourself later. 9. 5 masks and protective eyewear. It's not something most blackout preppers even think about, but during massive storms, wildfires, or chemical spills, the air quality tanks almost immediately. When Hurricane Ida slammed the Gulf Coast, air monitors recorded PM 2.5 levels over 150 AQI indoors, in some places just from leaking smoke. That's double what the WHO considers safe. Your blackout bag needs N95 masks or better. Forget those flimsy paper dust masks, they won't cut it. Real N95s filter 95% of particles down to 0.3 microns, which means they stop smoke, mold spores, and even certain viruses. Pair them with shatter-resistant ANSI Z87 Plus safety goggles, and suddenly you're ready for collapsed insulation, glass, or ash. During the Texas grid failure in 2021, thousands of pipes burst, leaving behind black mold that spread within 48 hours of moisture exposure. Survivors who had masks were fine, others ended up with lasting respiratory issues. You might not associate masks with a blackout, but consider this. Without power, your HVAC system doesn't filter the air. That's a silent killer right there. With one $20 pack of masks, you're not just protecting your lungs, you're buying yourself time, mobility, and health in a crisis where medical care might be hours or days away. 8. Portable water filtration and storage system. Everyone talks about food, but let me hammer this into your brain. Water fails first. When the grid goes down, if you're on a well system, your pump's useless. If you're in the city, a blackout longer than 12 hours risks sewage backups and contamination. According to the EPA, the average American uses 82 gallons of water a day. You won't get anywhere close to that in a blackout, but survival math says you need 1 gallon per person per day just for drinking and hygiene. That's why your blackout bag needs both a filtration system and collapsible storage bladders. A Sawyer mini filter weighs 2 ounces, yet it's rated for 100,000 gallons. That's basically enough to hydrate you for the rest of your life. But here's the overlooked piece: storage. If the power goes down during a storm, water pressure in your taps may last only a few hours. Fill collapsible bladders then. A 5-gallon bladder weighs about 42 pounds when full, making it portable but still substantial. Stack 2 or 3 in your closet and you'll have a private water reserve that can last a family of 4 almost a week. And don't forget purification tabs. Chlorine dioxide tabs can kill pathogens in as little as 30 minutes, something even the best filters sometimes miss, like viruses or chemical residues. You'll never regret having triple redundancy when the faucets run dry. When the lights go out, your debit card is a useless piece of plastic. During the Puerto Rico blackout in 2017, ATMs were offline for weeks and stores quickly switched to cash-only operations. But here's where most people fail. They stash $100 bills, completely impractical. No corner store clerk is breaking a $100 for a loaf of bread during chaos. You want small bills, $1, $5, and 10 cents, and you want at least 200, 300 spread out in multiple pouches. Why? Because money in an emergency isn't about buying luxury, it's about access. It buys you bottled water at a gas station, candles from a neighbor, or even persuades someone to lend you their backup generator for a night. Cash also buys silence and compliance. Think of it this way: when systems fail, paper currency becomes king again, and if you're stuck without it, you're immediately at the mercy of charity or desperation. Data from FEMA shows that over 60% of Americans have less than $500 in cash at home, which means if you're one of the few with a well-prepped stash, you're instantly ahead of the game. Bonus trick: wrap your bills in aluminum foil before stashing them. Sounds paranoid, but it protects against both moisture and anyone casually scanning for RFID wallets if chaos turns ugly. 6. Headlamp with rechargeable batteries. Flashlights are fine, lanterns are great, but nothing, and I mean nothing, beats a headlamp in a blackout. You need hands-free. Try boiling water with one hand while holding a flashlight with the other. You'll burn yourself. A headlamp solves that instantly. Go with LED models pushing at least 250 lumens, which can brightly illuminate an entire room. But here's the part nobody tells you. Invest in one that uses 18650 rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. They last longer, recharge faster, and you can power them directly with your solar bank. Compare that to AA or AAA batteries that die in 6 to 8 hours of continuous use and cost a fortune over time. With the right on the 18650 cell, you're looking at 12-15 hours on medium setting. That's an entire night of usable light without swapping. Also, don't overlook the red light setting. Red light preserves your night vision and doesn't draw as much attention if things get sketchy outside. In grid failures after major storms, looters look for light sources. Being able to move quietly without glowing like a lighthouse matters. Keep 2 spare rechargeable cells in your blackout bag, vacuum sealed with silica gel to prevent moisture damage. That tiny detail ensures your most important light source will actually work when you need it. 5. Compact propane or butane stove with backup fuel. If you think you can ride out a blackout eating cold beans straight from the can, you're in for a miserable and potentially unsafe wake-up call. Food isn't just calories, it's morale. When the grid goes down, refrigerated food starts spoiling in just 4 hours above 40 Celsius. That's your milk, meat, and cheese gone before you even realize it. A compact propane or butane stove isn't a luxury, it's the bridge between waste and survival. The best models weigh under 5 pounds, fit inside a backpack, and burn clean with minimal carbon monoxide risk. A single 16-ounce propane canister provides about 2 hours of high-flame cooking, enough to boil water 18 to 20 times. That means you can sanitize water, cook rice, heat soup, or even grill meat before it spoils. Here's where most people screw up. They buy the stove, but not enough fuel. You want at least 4 canisters on standby, vacuum sealed if possible to prevent rust. And here's the science. Cooking hot food during disasters reduces gastrointestinal infections, which skyrocket when sanitation fails. After the Haiti earthquake in 2010, up to 75% of displaced households reported diarrheal disease outbreaks, many traced to unsafe cold food. So yeah, that $30 camping stove isn't just about comfort, it's about keeping your family from getting violently sick when medical help is nowhere in sight. A blackout strips away convenience, and suddenly every small task becomes a crisis without the right tool. That's why a high-quality multi-tool, think Leatherman, Gerber, or Victorinox, isn't optional. We're talking pliers, screwdrivers, a serrated saw, wire cutters, and a knife blade all in one. In a prolonged power outage, you may have to cut fencing to reach water sources, pry open jammed doors, or repair broken gear. Here's the kicker. A real multi-tool isn't about survival fantasy, it's about practicality. During Hurricane Sandy, residents used them to shut off gas valves when explosions threatened entire neighborhoods. Others stripped wiring to jury-rig solar panels and car batteries into makeshift chargers. Even something as small as tightening screws on a loose generator housing can keep your backup power running instead of collapsing. Look for 420 HC stainless steel or higher. Cheap knockoffs rust within days in damp environments. The wire cutters matter more than you think. Data shows over 70% of power outages are storm-related, which means downed fencing, cables, or debris everywhere. Without a tool to cut and clear, you're immobile. Keep it sheathed on your belt, not buried in your bag. You'll need it faster than you realize. The silence of a blackout is its own kind of terror. No TV, no Wi-Fi, no cell service once towers lose backup power. In fact, during long outages, cell networks fail within 24-48 hours once backup batteries die. That's where a NOAA-certified emergency radio steps in. Crank-powered, solar-charged, or USB-compatible, these radios give you real-time updates on storms, evacuation orders, and even chemical spills. You're not just getting music, you're getting life-saving intel. After Hurricane Katrina, lack of communication was one of the biggest killers. People simply didn't know where the danger zones were. A good radio picks up AM, FM plus NOAA weather band, broadcasting alerts even when satellites are jammed. But here's the overlooked gem.
Many models now double as USB power banks and LED lanterns. That's 3 survival functions in one device. Keep in mind, FEMA officially recommends every household have one, yet only about 15% of Americans actually do. That means if you've got one in your blackout bag, you're already smarter than 85% of the population. Think about that the next time the storm clouds roll in and everyone else is scrambling for information in the dark. 2. First aid kit with trauma add-ons. You can survive weeks without power, but not minutes without stopping bleeding. Standard first aid kits are fine for band-aids and aspirin, but in a real blackout situation, you need to step it up. Add a cat tourniquet, Israeli bandages, clotting gauze, like Quick Clot, and antiseptic wipes to your kit. Why? Because blackouts create chaos. Broken glass, falling branches, generator mishaps. Data from the CDC shows that during natural disasters, traumatic injuries surge by 20 to 25%, and hospitals are often overwhelmed or offline. Having trauma gear lets you handle the big bleeds until help arrives, if it arrives. Don't stop there. Throw in extra prescription meds if you or a family member rely on them. Pharmacies close first during blackouts, and most Americans only keep about a 10-day supply at home. That's a death sentence if you're insulin dependent or need heart meds. Label your kit, vacuum seal meds with desiccants, and rotate them every 6 months. A blackout isn't just an inconvenience, it's a medical desert. Your bag should be the hospital until real hospitals reopen. Backup lighting system with layered redundancy. We started at 10 with power banks, but let's end with what makes the difference between panic and control: light. Not just one flashlight tossed in a drawer, but a layered lighting system. That means LED lanterns for whole room coverage, tactical flashlights for focused tasks, headlamps for mobility, and chemical glow sticks for backup. Why so many? Because redundancy equals survival. The Department of Energy estimates that power outages now affect 25 million Americans annually, up nearly 60% since 2015. That's millions of people fumbling in the dark. Without light, accidents multiply: falls, burns, even burglaries. And here's the deeper psychological angle. Studies show humans experience heightened anxiety and impaired decision-making within just 15 minutes of complete darkness. A house that stays illuminated feels like a fortress. A darkened one feels like prey. Go solar where you can, crank charge where you can't, and keep a stash of lithium batteries. They last 10 years in storage without losing charge. Light is not optional. It's the cornerstone of your blackout bag. Without it, every other item becomes harder to use, harder to find, and harder to trust. Don't let darkness be the thing that beats you. And that's it. 10 items that turn a blackout from a disaster into just another Tuesday night. Most people will be stuck in the dark, panicking, waiting for help that might not come. But with your blackout bag ready, you'll have light, food, water, and control when everyone else is helpless. So don't wait until the next storm or grid failure to realize you're not prepared. Build your bag now. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button because I drop survival strategies that keep you ahead of the curve. Until next time, remember, the blackout only wins if you're unprepared.